How's it going, everyone? With the holidays, I'm sure there's a couple of us who picked up an Apple TV for the first time. If you did, don't worry, I got your back, because I'm going to go ahead and show you my favorite features as well as tips and tricks that you could do on the Apple TV so you can get the most out of that device. Timestamps and everything else will also be in the description down below for your pleasure. But now, let's begin. Whenever you go over one of these icons, by lightly tapping the centerpiece, these icons actually have unique animations, as you see right here. The gear icons moving around. My most favorite one is probably the arcade, as you can actually move the joystick. It's kind of funny. And then, no, not every app has this effect because it's just a normal badge with the default third parties. It's mainly the native ones from Apple. Another unique one probably is the photo one. As you can see, it looks like a little overlap gloss because it's glass effect. That's pretty cool. Another one of my favorite features about the Apple TV is, let's say for example, you and your significant others are watching a movie at the same time, but you also want to watch like a YouTube video on the side. So whatever you're watching, like on your iPhone as an example, and to show you exactly what I mean, I'm going to go ahead and resume something I was watching, like Spider-Man as an example. Allow it to load. And now we got Spider-Man playing, right? So now I'm going to take out my iPhone and we're going to go ahead and select a random YouTube video that I see right here. Soup. Let's just watch Soup real quick. Let me lower his volume. All right. And then by tapping the cast icon on top right here, we are going to go ahead and select AirPlay. And then make sure we select the correct one. So this is the living room TV. Hit replace. It's going to swap it right there on your Apple TV, but then just let it load. And then what you need to do is select the picture-in-picture box. And now just hit play on the movie that you're watching. And there you are watching two things at once. And if you go back on your iPhone, you do have media control because you can pause and play the video right then and there and resume that YouTube video. And if you're not familiar with picture-in-picture, by tapping the TV icon, this will quickly take you to the picture-in-picture settings. So you can close it entirely, or you can move it on each corner like this if it's in the way. Again, this works on iPhones and iPads. And then you just close it all entirely. Picture-in-picture can also be found on some third-party apps as well as first-party, like this one from Disney Plus, I believe I'm watching it from. I have no idea. But if you could go to the very right corner, bottom right, like right here, you could also make the current video you're watching in picture-in-picture mode. Ideal if you're watching like football as well. So you can watch a movie for the kids and your favorite sports playoff right there on the screen. Multitasking. But now let's go back to that Spider-Man movie because I missed something. So let's go ahead and close that. And I missed what they said. So you could say he or she. So I could say something like, what did he say? And Siri is going to go back to 15 seconds of that clip and will enable subtitles, captions basically. And once it's past that certain point where you ask it to go back, it'll re-enable it. So right now captions are not available because I just realized we're watching a trailer. But a real example would be this. What did he say? And there you go, captions are on, and past the 15-second mark, captions will be automatically disabled again, if that's how you left it. But let's say you want captions to be turned on, and you know, every subscription service is kind of confusing to find your captions. If you can't find it, you can always just request Siri to turn on captions as well. You can also allow Siri to locate your misplaced Apple devices. So long as you're in the same account, you can request Siri using the Apple TV remote to locate your iPhone, Apple Watch, and etc. And if you like to skip forward or go back, you can always just request Siri, go back 30 minutes, and bam. So quickly skip through films or TV shows just like that. So these newer Apple TV remotes, the one with the USB-C, we are already familiar with the Find My ability, right? Well, it's compatible on most modern day Apple TVs, so if you like to upgrade, you can just buy this remote separately. And if you do have the remote, I covered this in the past, but I'm gonna go over it real quickly. By using the Control Center remote app on your iPhone, and you tap out right above here, you can select the Apple TV, but there's a find icon right here, which will basically allow you to locate your remote faster in case you misplace it. Very similar to like your AirTag. But the only drawback to this is there's no built-in speaker on your Apple TV remote. I've misplaced it somewhere in the couch before, and since it wasn't playing any sound, I had a hard time finding it. That is why next tip is to invest in AirTags as well as a little silicone sleeve for the Apple TV remote. I forgot to bring mine upstairs, but I'll have one in the description down below. But these are a massive lifesaver because the AirTag actually does play sound. So if you have a habit of missing your remote, that's probably a better combination. This way you don't have to buy a new Apple TV remote and upgrade. So VPNs have been available on Apple TV ever since the release of Apple TV OS 17. And now if you go onto the Apple App Store, you'll be able to find a lot of your favorite VPN providers like Surfshark as well as NordVPN. So if you are an existing subscriber to one of these providers, you can now easily log in and you can change your Apple TV region to other places around the world. And the benefit to this is if you're using popular streaming services like Netflix, I find that some of the shows are not available here in the States or even movies. But in South Korea, I had good luck on finding like John Wick, the complete series, where over here I would just had to rent. But since I'm already a subscriber and I have a VPN access, I was able to spoof my location and watch John Wick without having to rent any of the films, since over there, it's already available on streaming platforms like Netflix. So definitely do utilize VPNs if you can. So the volume control on the Apple TV, it's really straightforward, up and down. You could do the exact same thing with your Apple TV on your iPhone. The volume knobs, so long as you launch it, you can actually control the audio from the television from your iPhone. And if it's not working for you, you could just press the back and go back into your Apple TV settings. Sorry, I forgot to add this in the video. My camera kind of cut out, so I've totally missed this. And just go into remote and devices. Select this, and then you want to go ahead and scroll down till you find control TV and receivers. And then where it says volume control, depending on TV you have, but I just like to leave it on auto and let the Apple TV figure it out. But if you know what it is, just select it. But auto is my best result. And that's how you can make sure you have that ability to always adjust the audio on the Apple TV remote, as well as the remote app on your phone. But if whatever said reason your remote just isn't responding, which is a common bug that usually happens, you need to reset the remote. It's super easy to do so. Just long hold on the TV icon right here and volume down for 5 seconds. And then this should resolve any volume bugs that your controller is experiencing. But the remote itself has some amazing shortcuts. You see, if you double tap the TV icon, this will activate your app switcher, which allows you to basically force close apps by swiping up. And next time when you boot that app, it will start fresh, freeing it from any bugs you may be experiencing. And then whenever you find yourself deep into an app and you don't feel like back tapping just to go to the home page, just long hold the back arrow. It will take you straight to the home page of your Apple TV. But by simply double tapping the back arrow quickly, it'll take it to your screensaver. So you don't have to wait for the timer to automatically start your screensaver. And new this time is a swipe up from here allows you to quickly select between the different screensaver options you have. So you can select the new portraits, your memory slideshow with your iCloud, or the classic aerials. And with the aerials, you can also use the touchpad to switch between the different screensavers that it has. And we'll also show you additional information on the bottom left you see right there. But for your portrait shots, by going into settings and going to screensaver, this is not only where you can change the timer, but if we go into portraits, you can select either all, pets, nature, or cities. So you could do something like hide people, but show nature and cities only. So if you wish to customize some of these, you can. Now when watching movies like from Apple TV, and we start Ted Lasso, I personally don't watch Ted Lasso. I just know this is one of the promos that Apple constantly promote on Apple TV Plus. Let me know in the comments if this is a good series or not, or actually give it a chance. But if you look here, there's now this new tool, and this is basically your dialogue enhancer, as you could boost the enhancement in the dialogues. And if you look back here, you can also reduce the background sound as well. Now, this isn't anything new. I've seen this in the past done on other third-party like soundbars, like the Sonos ones, is my experience with these. So it has a very similar experience, but I noticed the vocals are much more enhanced and louder, almost as if I'm wearing like AirPods with transparency mode enabled. It's kind of like that. I'm quite surprised Apple was able to pull this off, and it works really well. But that's the audio enhancement booster preview right here. Other new changes can be the on-site ability, where whenever you're watching like a movie and they're playing, or even a TV show and they're playing like background music, it can actually show you what song is playing, more information on the song, the track, as well as the actors in those clips. This is very similar to like what we've seen in the past was Amazon Prime Music. So I like the fact that Apple now gave us this ability here as well. And I'm sure other third-party streaming devices, platforms will also be able to utilize this new hardware. Now, if you use your Mac to cast everything you see on your display onto the Apple TV, now you have the ability to actually have 3 choice options to choose from. One, you can have your entire screen mirror, or you can select a certain window. But now let's go back to our homepage, because a feature that was tested on tvOS 17 but then got removed and got placed back on can be located in Apple Music. If we select like a song real quick, like a random like playlist station, just gonna hit play. As you see on the bottom right corner, you have the ability to share play, which means anybody in your household who has access to this QR code can scan this and they could continue adding music to the play next list. Very similar to like CarPlay, you are now able to do this on the Apple TV. So anybody could be the DJ. And no, this does not mean you need to have a Apple Music subscription. Only the household that's linked to the Apple TV needs a subscription. So your friends, they don't need to have Apple Music to have access to this endless library. But then it doesn't just end there. You see right next to that is karaoke. Well, right above it. You can do karaoke by just vocals. And then it also supports camera continuity, where I'll create like cool animations when you select over here and connect the iPhone camera or an iPad, and you'll be able to have like visual effects, and it's pretty fun. Now, thanks to Apple tvOS 18, if you go into settings, if you're using this for a projector and you go into video and audio, aspect ratio, you can see now that we have 21:9, which is the ideal recommended aspect ratio when viewing your movies and stuff on a projector using the Apple TV. And now if you have a smart home camera, so in your household, smart doorbells, so long as it's compatible with Apple HomeKit, you can set it so it pops up automatically on your screen whenever motion is detected on those motion cameras. If it doesn't pop up automatically for you, you are required to go into your Apple TV settings and go down to AirPlay and HomeKit. And from here, go into the camera and doorbell setting. And then your camera is going to be named differently. Mine just has random numbers on top, as you see right there. But where it says show on this Apple TV, turn it on. And this way, whenever a live feed is coming up while you're viewing your video, you can see what's going on around your household. Or you could turn that on and just allow notification activity instead of a live feed. Personal preference right here. Now, the Apple TV homepage is pretty customizable. You could create folders and stuff if you like to, just like your iPhone. Just simply long hold and go tap edit home. You could rearrange your icons to your most used, and you could put the ones that you use on a daily basis on top and everything else on the very bottom. And now we have a 6th row for the Apple TV, as you see right here. But if you have a lot of Apple TVs around your household and you like to synchronize it all together, there's a setting that does allow you to do this. Go into your Apple TV and go into the user and accounts, select the account and go down till you see the One Home page, and go ahead and look for One Home Screen and just turn this on, and this way they're all synchronized under your iCloud account. So all these apps you have here are all synchronized, and the ones you decide on deleting later, they'll all be deleted across all your other Apple TVs. As you see, I just did that. So again, just long hold. And if you like to stack these up, again, it's kind of hard, but you could hover over the app and it will create like a custom folder. And then you can also rename it as well. And this would be when the keyboard notification will pop up, so you can actually use your phone keyboard instead of the actual Apple TV and make your life easier. Or you could use Siri to dictate what you like to type in. And then one of the beauties about the Apple TV is its small size factor. It's super small and portable to the point where it just needs 2 things, power and HDMI. And if you have an unlimited data plan on your smartphone, you can actually use this as a hotspot and take to your hotel and have a much more secure experience, because all your existing login information from your platforms that you like streaming from are already saved on your Apple TV. So I highly recommend, if you can, travel with the Apple TV and just use your mobile hotspot to connect your Apple TV with Wi-Fi in a private, secure network. And you can also continue utilizing AirPlay in case you're doing remote work on your laptop. You could use your hotel's television as a secondary monitor. So FaceTime continuity is where you are now able to FaceTime from your Apple TV. And the beauty about this, wirelessly, you can connect either your own devices. If you select your own profile, a little window will pop up on your devices letting you know if you like to use this device as your camera, But if you have somebody else in your household with you, they can always just scan this QR code. So long as it's an Apple product, they'll be able to connect to your Apple TV and be used for FaceTime calling as well. But once you select your camera of choice, there's a few unique gesture controls you definitely need to know to really spice things up whenever you're FaceTiming somebody using your Apple TV. As an example, creating a heart sign with your hand will create these cool heart animations. A thumbs up will do a thumbs up emoji. 2 thumbs up will do this. A single thumbs up will do this thumbs down emoji. And then 2 thumbs down will do basically boohoo sad cloud, rainy day type of thing. A peace sign or victory will do balloons. And then 2 peace signs / victory will do this, confetti. And then if you do heavy metal rock on to the front facing camera, you'll get an epic laser show. Those are some cool fun ones you could do to spice up the conversation with families and friends. So dimming down the display when you're watching a movie, but your significant other or your partner's already going to bed, you don't really want to distract them with a bright illuminating room. There's a cool little shortcut on the Apple TV remote where I'm able to, let me show you right now, triple tap the back button 3 times. This will allow me to quickly enable light sensitivity, which will dim down the brightness of my TV. And if you like to make it even dimmer, you can also adjust the dim brightness on the main TV and then increase it even more with the Apple TV. So you can really eliminate as much brightness as much as possible so you can allow your partner to sleep comfortably. And you like to do the same thing on your Apple TV, it's really easy. Quickly go into your Apple TV settings. Long hold again will take you back to your main menu, of course. But by going in here and going into accessibility, and you scroll all the way down to display, and then scroll down to where you find light sensitivity. Here's where you can not only go ahead and enable this, but this is where you go in to adjust setting the percentage to your own personal preference. The lowest is 25, unfortunately. But by simply doing that, if you go back into the accessibility tab and scroll down to find an accessibility shortcut, here's where you get enabled captions to also go on automatically, or light sensitivity. By selecting 1, it'll do it automatically by default, but by selecting 2, you'll get this screen popping up. So you can quickly have access to what you like to enable immediately and what you don't. So now whenever typically when I'm watching a movie, since I enabled captions to be a part of that list, so if I resume this and triple tap and enter closed captions, captions will go on. You can also find these 2 settings real quick. By long holding on the TV icon on your Apple TV, it'll take you to your control center, and you can scroll down to find the little circle icon with the person in the middle. You can also find your settings right here to turn on or turn off. And if you go into settings, you can enable more stuff if you like to add like switch control as an example, which you don't need to do that because double tapping the home TV icon on your controller will allow you to do that. You can also close apps by swiping up, of course. So if you have little ones in your household and you're not taking advantage of Apple's parental control, you definitely need to, because there's some amazing settings right here. If you don't know, by going into your Apple TV settings right here, and you go into general, and then you scroll into restrictions, here's where you can go ahead and turn it on. It is going to request for you to create a generic password. Well, don't make it generic. I'm making it generic for the purpose of this video. It even tells me how easy it is for someone to guess this. But if you have multiple profiles on your Apple TV, you'll find them right here. And you can enable the ones you want to have full access to or block entirely. So since I only have myself on this Apple TV, my household decided just to rely on my account, which I'm okay with. But by hitting allowed, this will allow me, the person signed into this Apple TV, to also use Face ID or Touch ID to bypass the PIN code access. So by going down, if you notice rental purchases, you can restrict, or you could block in-app purchases as well. And then in terms of rating for music, TV shows, or apps even, you could add restrictions right here. So movies, you got your PG-13 rating, or you could just not allow movies in general. So by going back, and after you edit all those, and we go back to some of these apps that I know I blocked, like YouTube, I could use a little pop-up window will pop up on my iPhone right here, allowing me to use Face ID to unlock it and approve. Again, this is all due to the fact that we actually allowed it on the general setting. So if you like to have full lockability restriction orders on your Apple TV, that's what you need to do. But I also highly recommend just perusing around here in this setting. It's really straightforward and easy to use. The next thing I like to show you is running PC games on the Apple TV, all thanks to Steam Link right down here. Because I originally picked up a Steam Deck and I could link this to the Apple TV. And to show you how I'm able to do this, here's Steam Link right here. Just activate it. And so long as my device is on the same Wi-Fi network as my Apple TV, I'm able to find my Steam Deck right here. So long as the two devices are turned on, I just simply enter the code that right there on the display. And so long as you have a good Wi-Fi network, right now we are using Wi-Fi 6E. So now that since we are okay, I could quickly just wirelessly connect my Apple TV to my Steam Deck. And you can see right here that we have access to all these games. I'm actually using the controller on the Apple TV. So this Xbox controller actually is paired on my Apple TV. And it's what's using to control my games. So I can boot up something like Batman, play Arkham Knight, and in no time it loads. Even the Steam Deck identifies that I'm using an Xbox controller as well. So this will work perfectly fine even if you have like a gaming computer. You do not need to have a Steam Deck. You could use a regular PC, laptop, or desktop with Steam installed, and you don't have to move it around the room. You could just wirelessly connect to it and play all your favorite Steam PC games on your Apple TV. And again, this is just solely relying on your Wi-Fi network. There's no need to connect to a server or anything like that. So long as you have a nice stable Wi-Fi connection, this will work smoothly. So I can select my game progress right here, hit continue, and again, all I have to do is just have this controller paired to the Apple TV, and the app itself does everything on its end. And there you go, I'm playing Batman Arkham Knight. Those are a handful of my favorite tips and tricks that you could do on the latest version of tvOS. But before we wrapped up this video, I'd like to say a quick special thanks to those that took the 2 seconds to hit that like button a like. That means a lot because this allows this channel to continue to be powered by you guys, the viewers, not integrated brands or ads that you typically will see on other channels. I personally don't like seeing that when I'm just trying to find information about my products. So a big thank you for those that hit that like button and like. That not only helps out the channel, also allows this video to be recommended to other people who also want to see this information quickly. So a special thank you for doing that. But now if you're a retro gamer like I am, I highly recommend watching this video next because I show you how you can actually install emulator ROMs onto your Apple TV, allowing you to play some iconic classics like Mario 64 and more. I go in more detail right over there. Just a quick heads up, I don't give you a tutorial how to install ROMs, as that is against YouTube terms and conditions, but a quick search on the internet, you'll be able to find that information really easy. But everything else, all the important bits I do cover in that video. Happy holidays, and thank you so much for watching.